It's Tuesday afternoon at 4 p.m. in Switzerland. It's Space Café WebTalk time. Our Space Café WebTalk, 33 minutes with Elodie Viau, will begin soon. Thanks for joining us for this talk today about ESA's Telecommunication Outlook 2021. And for those that want to know what ESA stands for, it's the European Space Agency. And I'm deliberately asked to say that at least once. As always, we really appreciate your participation and your ongoing feedback. I'm Torsten Kriening, your host and publisher of SpaceWatch.Global, and we are a Switzerland-based online platform for information in and about space and new space activities in a geopolitical context. I know many of you are already familiar with our website, our bi-weekly and daily newsletters, and the Space Café podcast. Our new episode went online on all major platforms just a few hours ago. Episode 19 features Una McCormack, a Star Trek science fiction writer. An episode outside our legal and tech talks and absolute super cool to listen, so just to encourage you. We also keep our fan shop online for you, where you can support us actively in becoming a Space Watcher. And we have cool mugs, masks, awesome t-shirts, brand new reflecting jackets and backpacks, and more cool items for you, your friends, and the ones you love. Your support is needed to keep our work alive for you. If you have missed any of our previous web talks, we have an archive available on our website in the event section and on YouTube. We host our Space Café web talks live on a weekly basis, and this is already the 41st edition. So I know you mark Tuesdays in your calendar already. So I'm honored and completely thrilled today, and you can see that how nervous I am, to have one very inspiring European space guest on my show. Somebody I regard as a leader and as a pioneer in our sector. And with that, a warm welcome, Elodie Viau, to our show. And
Thanks a lot. Thanks for that.
I apologize if I pronounce it in the wrong way, but I mean, it's as good as I can do it as a German.
No, that's very good.
Good. So a little bit about you for our audience. Elodie joined ESA as Director of Telecommunications and Integrated Applications on 1st of September last year for 12 years. Prior to this, she worked for SES, another French word I know, Société Européenne des Satellites, as Vice President for Technology Program Management. She led new space segment development as well as end-to-end system design and implementation of new integrated systems and services. She was the SES program manager of 9 satellites built by Airbus. She earned 3 master degrees, 2 MScs from the Telecommunications Paris and from the International Space University. So you see, another ISU alumni that made a great career. And she has an MBA from the Open University. And so once more, welcome Elodie to the show. Let's kick that off.
Thanks a lot.
So before we dive into some very current space topics, I have to ask just one question out of curiosity. I mean, you joined ESA about 100 days ago as on the director level. So you are the only woman on that level, much younger than most of your director colleagues. You are an ESA outsider. Plus, hey, last fall, there was the peak of the lockdown, or one peak of the lockdown. Sounds like a real challenge. And how was your start? Did you get to the factory, or was your desk full of swag, as we can see it from all the cool companies in the US? So tell us a bit more. How was it?
Hi, Torsten. Hi, everyone. It's a very great pleasure to be with you today. So yes, when I started, it was in the COVID timeframe. I was lucky enough that there were a bit of a slowdown, so I had an opportunity to meet my key team members during a short month. I couldn't do the full tour of the factory. I went in a few locations in ESTEC, in ECSAT, and in the headquarters. So I was very lucky that 2 days after I joined, I actually enjoy being with my team, supporting them during the launch of ESAIL, which is a maritime satellite, microsatellite for tracking ships worldwide. And it was a partnership project that they have worked on very longly. And it was on a Vega ride, the first time that Vega was taking 53 small satellites. So that was kind of a very good entry within ESA, and my team welcoming me very greatly. So after we had to reinvent ourselves to keep going due to the COVID that we all experienced. So we went doing more virtual events. And but that didn't remove any of our energy, and we are still working very close to the industry and to our member states. So both on the public and on the private entities to achieve even more. And now we are used to those virtual discussions. We are missing the contact, but we are accommodating and, like everyone else, adapting and reinventing ourselves. That's a key capabilities that the team at ESA is having. Yes, as a woman and as a young director, is it very key for me to encourage my team and ESA to have more diversity in terms of age, difference, culture. You mentioned ISU, where it's a multicultural environment. So that's key for me. And even more than that, have inclusion and those team approach with partnership and collaboration with various background is key to achieve that. I come from the industry, and it's a great pleasure to have a broader perspective and angle of view within ESA, learning other directorate fields like Earth observation, navigation, exploration, human robotic and exploration, and other fields as well like science and technology. So ESA is looking forward to 2021, and yeah, that's all about it. My first 100 days, I would say.
Okay. But out of curiosity, did you have a chance to meet in person your team? I mean, your team is distributed around different locations. Was there a chance already, or just everything virtual?
Not everything virtual. I would say partial. So I had a chance to meet my direct report and a few of team members in the Netherlands, in UK, and as well in France. But after that, the full team, some of them I still didn't have met them yet, except virtually. So we are doing a lot of virtual events once every quarter as a minimum, as a overall altogether. But also I'm doing not space coffee, but like meet the director coffee type of exercise to have the chance to have a one-to-one discussion with each of them. And it's a bit slower for the other meeting across other directorates, but it's slower, but we are getting there. And,
okay.
And we are accommodating.
Absolutely. Good. Let's talk about the topic that we've chosen for this talk, the outlook of the ESA telecommunication strategy or telecommunication activities this year. So can you please give us a short insight about the directorate, how to structure the magic of artists, and what you're planning for this year, of course, and beyond? I mean, most of these things are not just limited to 1 year, as we all know.
Yes. So I think we are strong from the last ministerial that was in 2019. And so we see. I would like to give first a little bit of perspective of what is happening in the overall telecommunication market. Some of you may already be aware and know it, but just to recall, the satellite global market generates 220 billion euro, and 100 of it is for satellite services. So the satellite space is entering more and more in the digital economy. So the importance of data is increasing. The data generating from Earth and from space. And so therefore, there is a structural change that has been operating and is under operation still for commercial to go from TV linear to connectivity. So data is becoming if you want, like our electricity. So connectivity will be our distribution network. So there is a need to get data all the time, everywhere, and that is something that is very well understood by the ecosystem and the industry. So that's in this context that my objective is to work and with my telecommunication and space solution teams to work with the market, to innovate with the industry, including the mature players that are always innovating, but also with the SMEs, the startup. And our aim is to develop societal, difficult to say, societal solution of public benefit. So one of the priorities is to boost this innovation and competitiveness of the European industry to be more supporting commercialization and the competitiveness, especially for the European economy recovery in the situation and the challenge that we are facing today. So we try to develop further public and private partnership to attract private co-investment and innovative financing solution. So that's really where we are at. We try to also go a little bit faster to be dynamic and agile. So my team is full speed already working on 3 strategic program lines. So that's called, we are now at ARTES 4.0, let's put it this way. That is among 3 axes, for example, the optical communication with the importance of the inter-satellite link. Also, then the second one is safety and security that include, for example, quantum encryption, that we are doing with our member state and also in support of the European Commission in the EuroQCI and GovSatcom initiative. And then the third pillar is about 5G, and we are already looking at 6G with the industry. And we are trying to trigger new partnership also with non-space sector in this sector. So what I try to push my team to is that to be a bit more dynamic and, as I say, a bit faster to implement and have in-orbit verification of those solutions while still being doing things fast, but rightly, right? That's what I try to say. Fast but good. And so by introducing the fact that we can do an iterative, innovating approach, introducing innovation step by step, but also with some minimum viable products that can bring early commercialization of services. So putting at the disposal of large, small and medium enterprise and startup, the mean to try things and to validate in orbit those innovative concepts and technologies, such as what we mentioned, quantum and AI. So that's about it.
But can you dive in a bit deeper on that? Because that was when we announced the session. That was a question that was also asked by our guests. So the in-orbit verification is that, how do you motivate your team to act faster? I mean, you're working in a huge administration which is used to work in this ether speed. And for all of us in the industry, or which have been in the industry, know ether speed and speed of industry does not even come close to each other. However, everybody loves ether because ether has big pockets. So, And how can we match that? And when you say you want to be more agile, what does it mean? Yeah, is it more agile for the big ones, or another billion for the big 4, or are we talking here also about the SMEs?
So your question has many questions, but I will try first to answer the fact of how we get faster and how do we move a little bit faster. I'm trying to remove this also perception and to progress that the ESA speed and the industry speed need to be hand to hand and cannot be at two levels. The only thing is that we will have some phase studies that need to happen in preparation and in a continuous process, because we don't stop innovation at the first step. But we need in between, and we are introducing those flexible systems that we are funding and co-funding with the private entities to have early demonstration with small satellites that are could be at various different orbits, and to demonstrate already a few steps of innovation. And now the more important is that space needs to be seamlessly integrated into terrestrial solution. So not only we need those elements to validate the innovation in space, but we need also those elements to start validating and integrated with the terrestrial at early stage, and those can trigger maybe not waiting for having all the user requirement fulfilled, but to have a minimum set of requirement fulfilled that you can start demonstrated, and the startup and the players and SMEs can demonstrate how it will work and what does it mean, and then go to the next phase of innovation. So that's why more than fostering the innovation for a long time and reaching that. So we try to be pragmatic even, and to be really to be listening and to be at the same time very supportive of the industry of today. I think that's a bit what happened in the let's say IT domain, right? This beta test and a few maybe not perfect software that are released and used and show a first few capability before you go to the next version. And the industry in space is actually embracing that as well. So it go end to end. So not, and at the same time, we are there to trigger and push for the innovation to support those the competitiveness of Europe for today and for tomorrow.
Wonderful. There, you give me my next few questions are with this statement. I will come back to it. Tuesday last week, we both had the pleasure to talk, or in my case, just moderate in Brussels, or virtual in Brussels, at the European Space Conference. So, but who has really taken the floor was, of course, Thierry Breton and his statement about the European LEO constellation. I think we all were overwhelmed by the statement. How does that fit or interfere with your directorate's plan? Because it's now the European Commission that wants to go in. And yes, we have seen it with Galileo and all the other stuff already. I mean, in our audience, we have now people from all the relevant entities and European organizations also listening. So what is great. So.
Yes, so I think the first statement that I would like to say is that ESA and we really welcome the ambition expressed by the Commissioner Breton to have an European investigation of a major program to build a secure and autonomous European satellite infrastructure for connectivity using quantum and AI technology. So for us, it's key in Europe if we want to stay competitive and autonomous vis-à-vis of others such as the US or China that are moving ahead and that are supported by their institution. So there is 4 aspects that was highlighted by the commissioner and also by the DG DEFI and DG Connect. The fact that this is key in the world to be connected and to be robust to cyber attack. So that's the first one. After that, that we need to avoid to have dead zone and to have people that don't have access to that are not served equally by the internet and the telecommunication system. then to be autonomous, to be able to, as I mentioned, to be independent of other big players in the world. And then finally, to move forward to the future, enabling also the European industry to invent the next generation of application and services. So for the first aspect about connected and cyber attack, the point is that, as I mentioned to you, the data is a new gold. And with the secure and resilient transfer of sensitive information has become key. Really, it's a backbone. It's the connectivity is key for this new age of geopolitical instability, and with some cybersecurity threats that we can read in the press that there is frequent threat on that. So it's why an autonomous secure space connectivity system can provide additional resilience and availability essential in moment of crisis of terrestrial network. It could be during, for energy generation and distribution, clean water supply, data centers that all rely to be interconnected as a distributed system. So this infrastructure rely on network system that need to be, let's say, also secured and safely operated thanks to a satellite infrastructure. There is also the fact that you may have some humanitarian missions that need in some emergency situation to have additional services that can be provided by a satellite constellation with an overlay of secure communication. So that's the aspect of connected and cyber attacks and security. And then after that, the digital economy. So we have seen during our COVID crisis that we are relying on telecommunication network for teleworking, social media, entertainment, and so on. So not everybody is equally served still, and it could be more costly to try to serve it by terrestrials than going for a constellation. I want to mention, because I see the question, that there is also the fact that right now this analysis is about a multi-orbit constellation. It's not necessarily a full LEO mega constellation that we are talking about. So yes, so after all the sectors like transport sector, fleet management, air traffic management need a secure global connectivity. And I think that's what is the target of this constellation. Now, ESA has been working ahead of time with the European Commission, for example, on quantum key distribution key, where we have already some project ongoing to support them. And we were already having some studies in partnership with the industry, and as well a few projects and programs with concrete hardware and satellite project being built to support those type of activities. So in fact, this momentum is coming at the right moment to allow us to, with our member state, to find financing solution to move forward.
And I'm right that, I think you alluded to that ESA is part of the first study at the moment for these
yes.
situation. Can you, I mean, the question you pointed to is the one from Andrew Williams about your thoughts on the threats posed by the LEO mega constellation in terms of sustainability. And I mean, I know that at least other departments in ESA are looking very careful about SSA, STM, whatever acronym we want to use for that. But it is on the radar in the literal sense.
Yes, and so we are looking at also per design how we can minimize the impact on the astronomy, and that's where, if taken from at the start, we can really impact and make sure that it's not an issue, or at least minimize the issue. And also we are looking within ESA also about clean space and activities that are around ADRIOS is one of the programs that is running within ESA to make sure that we are not neither leaving this mega constellation or any type of garbage, let's put it this way, or dead body within in space that we cannot use the space in a sustainable way. So that is a different team within ESA that is looking at it, but we are within my directorate very supportive of them, and I actually, after this call, that will be one of the meetings that I will go to. And so that's typically, it's going hand to hand, right? Putting things in space, but also thinking about the sustainability of how we will manage space in a broader term. That's both that are equally important within ESA.
I see.
I just want to mention a little thing, Torsten, maybe. In this report, we are reflecting and we are also trying to foster about what are the next steps with the European Commission. At this stage, we are supporting the initiative fully, and of this first year of, let's say, preliminary analysis and design, and with the full consortium of industry. And that's where we are also supporting with our member states peripheric activities that can be used.
I think it's brave to bring ClearSpace and the mega constellation into one sentence. I mean, I will not allude on that for the moment, but as we are having tracks on SpaceWatch, also on STM, but I mean, of course, we are following very closely with what goes on there. Let's talk about competition. I mean, it's not that we don't have satellites in space, as we know, and we have a few of them are claiming that they are in operations or will be in operations soon to exactly going after the same targets that you mentioned earlier, secure communication, disaster recovery, and so on and so forth. Plus, we do have, I mean, you have in Luxembourg, or you worked with the high tech or so, which have the balloon thing or to connect to the satellite and so on. I mean, there are particular solutions already out there. So what are your thoughts on that to finalize our talk here about the European constellation and moving on to the startup scene?
Yes, so I think the key is that Europe is looking for an autonomous space connectivity system. However, there is also a need to boost the innovation and the space industry as large. So therefore, there is it's not a question of monopoly, but cost-effective European solution, which responds to Europe autonomy and public need in such a way that commercial service can be provided competitively at a global scale. So again, at this stage, we should not anticipate which system is going to emerge from this study. There is key operators that are involved, as well as satellite manufacturer and service provider, and that's the work that they will conduct over the next year.
Okay, great. I leave you off the hook or on the constellation now. But I know that you're very passionate about startup programs. Let's talk about your plans and your initiatives there. And what are your focus areas? I mean, you alluded to a number of focus areas earlier on. Maybe you go a little bit more into details. And
yes, so
as your directorate is not the only one in ESA, how would you like to include the other or the various ESA directorates across the market into these plans?
Yes, so basically within the Telecommunication and Integrated Application Directorate, we have a network of business incubation center. So there is currently 60 business incubator center locations, and we have 900 startups. So the year 2020 did not start well, but it turned out to be one of the record of European space investment. We have reached over 600 million euro investor in more than 30 deals. So there is a top deals such as ESA Aerospace and Spire. So that's where this network is really key, because it's fostering innovation, and it's also really going with new ideas and new services invention using space sectors and non-space sectors. So there is a key importance of space being part of the full daily life now. So especially going forward with 5G, 6G, that will allow having a more interconnected and new services that will go from digital, virtual to physical world, having autonomous transportation, connected all the time, so safely. So those things are really maturing. We are going forward with that. And then you asked me the question, we would like to develop with other directorates. So I'm a big fan of trying to, especially because I come from the telecom and I'm very curious about Earth observation, navigation, and human robotic exploration. So we are doing now cross directorates activities that we are enhancing, where we join forces amongst directorates to help industry and generate new programs that are cross directorate. There is some that are much more forward-looking, more a bit inspirational, like, for example, one that we call Moonlight, that is about doing a service of communication and navigation with a satellite constellation around the moon for when we will be returning there. So there is a variety of potential. We are, of course, looking at supporting our other colleague because our directorate is a bit more industry and business oriented, for having the privilege of having developed a private-public partnership. So we are supporting and facilitating this to other directorate, for example, during the creation of the ESRIC, the European Space Resource and Innovation Center in Luxembourg. So we are supporting with human robotic and exploration to create together this and to facilitate new field. So that's
okay.
Something that I didn't mention to you. We are looking to even more support the startups and the SMEs to find new way of financing. There has been a lot of announcement about fundraising and venture capitalists. So there is, as part of my team, a section that is looking into it and to support those new private-public leveraging on each other with looking at how to advise venture capitalists from a technical standpoint.
Okay. Okay, I see we have a number of questions, but just 3 minutes to go. So, however, I mean, I sent them over to you, and there are also some questions especially from Catherine about the UK, the elephant in the room question. I would like to send you over for a written answer, then here a verbal answer. Let's take the one from Ernst Pfeiffer. It's about in-orbit verification, and we talked about it, and all the technology that's developed by the European SMEs. What are your plans for bringing them to flight applications, so regularly or frequently? So once a year. I mean, at the moment, it's just once every whatever. So, but the ultimate goal to have it flight proven is to have it flight proven. So get it up into air, or into space.
Yes, and one of the key aspects of that was the barrier for launch and availability on launcher, and that's why I was talking to you about when I joined that there were this launch with Vega, which was the first European ride with 53 small satellites. So having more and more of those capability. So what we are working with the directorate that is looking at space transport system for the launcher is also working together on anticipating with the launcher industry what are the needs and develop a new boost program to be able to have additional capability for launching those small satellites that cannot afford to wait too much, and also that wants to go on a regular basis, as you mentioned, not to have them once a while, but for them to have opportunity to test things up.
So we have to wait for another Vega, another successful Vega once, right cabled and all of that. So, okay. With that, I'll leave it. Thank you very much. I'm afraid, as we get the signal from our production team already, that we are over time. So I'm afraid we have to come to an end. But even so, I'm super enjoying this conversation, and I'm quite sure would like to continue it. We will continue also follow up the topics in your department or from your departments in the web talks and in our magazine. So
thanks so much.
You're welcome. So I apologize the audience for our full set of next events. And you see it, I had to change the fonts because the next 3 weeks are very busy. And we try to offer you a colorful bouquet of talks. So our next week, I have the pleasure to talk with Dr. Peter Martinez from the Secure World Foundation. On the 28th, we will start another Australia-friendly event. So 9:30 a.m. CET, we will start a space law breakfast with Stephen Freeland, where we will discuss a few of the current space law topics within connection to the real world, such as the new Biden administration, what that might bring in for us. And I hope a week after inauguration, we will have some answers already. On the 2nd of February, I will host another great fellow from ESA, the head of legal, Dr. Marco Ferrazzani, as a guest. A week later, on the 9th of February, the new executive director of Intersputnik, Elena Morozova, hello Elena, also in the audience, will be my guest. And based on the views in the news item we put out on LinkedIn with over, I think, 7,000 hits, we have to potentially increase our virtual room here. So be fast to get one of the seats. And that week will also hold 2 more exciting events. On the 10th of February, we will host the first Space Café Brazil by Ian Grosner in Brasilia in Portuguese, for those of you that speak Portuguese. So it will not be me, but I at least will do the introduction. And it will be 11 p.m. for Europe as well. So his guest will be the wonderful Olavo Bittencourt, who I had the pleasure with to work in the Hague working group on space resources. And one day later, on the 11th of February, Moriba Jah will host his next Moriba's Vox Populi, talking with his guest about space and religion. And when I saw his lineup, I was fascinated because from all of the major religions of the world, he has one representative in his panel, and that would be absolutely fascinating. All events are online on Eventbrite. As always, we would like to hear your feedback. So please check in with us on Twitter, on Facebook, or on LinkedIn. And don't forget to sign up to our daily and our bi-weekly newsletters. If you would like to treat yourself with something really special, become a Space Watcher today. Your support will help us. Take your credit card and visit our fan shop at shop.spacewatch.global. And now I know I repeat myself, but we really need your support to continue our work. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining today. And thank you, Elodie, for your inspiring talk and being my guest. And thanks to the entire team behind the scenes for doing their great job week by week again. I hope you all will stay safe and stay healthy if you're vaccinated or not. But stay safe. And thanks for joining us. I hope to see you next week. In the meantime, visit our website or join us on social media. And don't forget, become a space watcher. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.